Welcome, everyone. So good to see you here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here.
Thank you, Idella, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. My name is Reverend Jean Bell. My pronouns are she and her, and I am so glad to be here today. If you're tuning in for the first time, please like or share and spread the good news of New Thought out into the world. All right, if you're visiting for the first time, please see a welcome ambassador out in the hallway for gifts, especially for you. I'm going to read through the announcement, the affirmation, and then I'm going to invite all of you to read it with me. All right. I honor the power of my voice as an expression of the divine within me. I speak my truth with clarity, courage, and compassion. My words create, heal, and uplift, bringing the liberation to myself and to others. It's beautiful. So let's say that with one voice. I honor the power of my voice as an expression of the divine within me. I speak my truth with clarity, courage, and compassion. My words create, heal, and uplift, bringing liberation to myself and to others. And so it is. Please welcome Idella Veal with the announcements.
Thank you, Reverend Jean. Hello again. Our announcements today are as follows. Hello again. I'm Idella, and I serve as a practitioner here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. We're so happy that you chose to spend your time with us here today. So please make yourself known in the online chat or in person so a member of our welcome team can greet you. We have so many opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, please scan the QR code found on the monitor. Join Reverend David today during our 5 o'clock hour as we dive into the guiding principles of our philosophy, what we believe. Reverend David will guide us into a deeper look as each principle and how they pertain to our everyday lives. This workshop will take place every fourth Sunday. After a long break, Game night is back. Join us in the social hall on Friday, May the 30th at 7 p.m. Have any of you ever attended game night? Okay, so what do you think about game night? All right. Okay. Set a reminder to join in on a night of fun and fellowship. This is a great opportunity to spend time with others at SLCA and meet new friends from UUCA. Bring your favorite game and snack to share. We can't wait to see you there. Next Sunday, June 1st, is our monthly potluck and Bring a Friend Sunday. If you have been considering inviting your friends and introducing them to our Sunday experience, now is the time. We are excited to meet your friends and welcome them to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta family as we share great food and amazing fellowship following the service. Adult study is growing, and we want you to join us each Sunday morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. This SLCA practitioner-led class explores the Science of Mind magazine and is a wonderful way to connect with community as you grow in this teaching. For more information and to register for the Zoom link, visit our website. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to visiting you after service in the social hall for food and fellowship. Just a reminder that our menu has changed. The first Sunday will always be community potluck, and second and fourth Sunday will be cake and coffee, and the third Sunday will be a full meal. Please be sure to speak to at least 2 people you have not met yet, and remember, you belong. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
Let's take a breath and know that in that silence of the breath, that place of peace, joy, love, comfort, that is where the divine lies. Waiting on you, waiting on me, waiting on me to just connect and link with and join with at any moment, at any time. For Spirit is always open, 24/7, 365 days out of the year. Never closed, never on vacation, never unavailable. breathe in that knowing. Breathe in that awareness. And allow that to lead you and me and I wherever I choose to go. What a wonderful thing to understand and know that no matter what befalls me, I can tune into this place, tune into that knowing, and there I am. That gives me so much comfort, so much joy, so much relief to know that I don't have to always know the answer. I don't always have to do anything but just be open, be aware, and allow. What a comfort that is. I'm so grateful to be able to tap into that presence. I'm so grateful to be able to know this truth no matter where I am, no matter what is presenting to me, and no matter how things may appear on the outward. It is the inward that is more important. As I lean into this quiet, as I lean into that space, I also know that the law is already working with it. The law has received it. The law says yes to it. And it does it each and every time. And as such, I know this is complete. It is done. And if you're in agreement with it, you say with me, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
Thank you, Idella. Thank you, Practitioner Tony, for that beautiful prayer. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great day to be together. Thank you for being here in person in the room. Thank you for being online and tuning in to us on YouTube and Facebook as well. We're grateful that you are with us today. This is our time of tithes and offerings. It's our time to participate in the flow of circulation of our good, to recognize that there is a good that is in our life, that is our source, which is unlimited. It doesn't come from our jobs or our careers, but comes from an invisible source and moves through those places so that we can be a blessing to the world and to ourselves as well. And as we bless others, we bless ourselves. And we bless this community today. So we are joining in the circulation of over 100 people who monthly contribute to this center, doing so with pledges. And so we are grateful for each and every one of those individuals. You'll see the different ways to give on the screen, the QR code, our text to give number, which makes it really easy to do from your phone, or our website. If you're in the room, cash and checks and envelopes, all of that is available through our ushers as well. And if you're online, we please invite you to join in this contribution as well, because you are part of this community, and what makes this community work is that we're all in this together. This community changes lives. It's changed my life. I believe it's changed your life. I believe it's changed hundreds of lives in the greater Atlanta area since 1979. And so you're part of a vibration of something that has been growing and moving and shifting even as it is now through different iterations and expressions. But it wouldn't be here if it weren't for all of those iterations and expressions doing what was theirs to do in their time to ensure that this place was this place, which we're in somebody else's church, but this place as an idea in the mind of God continues to exist and is supporting its staff and supporting the website and all the different ways that you connect and find us. So thank you for contributing to that. And if you have your pledge or offering, if you can hold it in your hands and hold it on your heart, we'll go ahead and say our affirmation. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
So we bring these offerings forward now and we bless them with our heart and with our mind as we extend our hand and our energy to them. We know that they are received into the life of this community, pressed down and overflowing. These in the room, these online, these flowing in throughout the month through their automatic interval of contribution from all across the country and all throughout the greater Atlanta area. I'm so grateful for every heart and every hand and every mind and every family that is connected to this ministry and is dedicated to supporting it with their particular piece of contribution, their particular expression of love. I know that these gifts move into the heart of this ministry to fulfill its needs and so much more, and then press back out into us, into the community, into the world as our experience of greater love, peace, and joy. So for this and more, I give thanks and allow it to be, and so it is. All right. Well, it's the fourth Sunday of the month, and if you're new here, as I know some people are, the fourth Sunday we do something a little bit different, and we call it Praxis Sunday. And praxis is just a fancy academic word for practice. That's all it means. They use it a lot in seminary. So when you ever hear a minister saying praxis, you know that they went to seminary. It just they're educated. And a while back, I think sometime in 2004, we said, let's change up just as sort of we do with our food service after the service, when we have kind of something going on different each week. We started doing that with our service order a little bit as well. And the opportunity to have a Praxis Sunday is the opportunity to have a Sunday where we dive a little bit deeper. We engage in some interactive things. And Praxis in New Thought is all about embodying. It's all about experiencing. It's all about as I like to say, learned years ago from one of my teachers, Michael Beckwith, that we're not here to merely intellectualize our spiritual life, which is kind of what you're doing when you do spiritual study, right? But rather we're here to spiritualize our intellect, right? In other words, to ground our understanding of who we are in a somatic, embodied practice of the presence. so that it's not just heady, right? Which New Thought can be very heady, so that it's deeper into ourselves, into our being, and moves out from the center of our being. And that happens through our meditation and our prayer time as individuals, but there's also something powerful about creating space where that happens through our, again, sort of academic words, our corporate worship together, right? Or our spiritual community time together. And so that's what we're about today. We're going to do a series of meditations and sort of body check-ins. And if you need or want something to write with, I do have index cards here and some pens, and we might even have more pens. And so that's optional. You can come and get that. A lot of people can take notes on their phone, so if you're comfortable with doing that, you can do that. If you have a journal, that's great. If you want to just listen and take it all in, this is broadcast on Facebook and on YouTube and on our church website. You can go back later and take notes from it if you want to just, be receptive to the process. So all up to you, whatever you prefer. If you want the note card, grab a note card, use your phone, or do it later, as I often do. I take something in and I'm like, okay, I'm going to come back later and watch that and really go through and take notes. So we've been talking all month. Thank you so much for jumping in and just passing those out. God bless you. Appreciate it. See, praxis already. Spiritual community, doing it together. So what we're going to do is take time to shift our spiritual listening from being about spiritual ideas to embodying them through our practices today. We've been exploring all month this theme of raising your voice, to speak your truth, to finding courage, to stepping into greater alignment with spiritual principles in the world. And today we are shifting the focus from silence as avoidance to silence as strength. And last week we were talking about peace, and peace as the presence of something rather than the absence of something. And how do we integrate that into our work as well? Again, I mentioned this last week, I don't know about you, but we need some active voices in the world, don't we? And we need them coming from that place of peace. We need them coming from not silence as avoidance or meekness, but from that still place that gathers strength to say what needs to be said, right? With courage and power. And I believe because we're seeing that in the external world, then that's also true for us internally in our individual lives. And so while I often talk about what's happening on the television or the external world, you can simply take all of that and apply it to your individual life. So where do I need to show up? Where do I need to advocate? Where do I need to raise my voice about what Spirit wants for me in my own life? And so that's what we're going to explore a little bit today. Martin Luther King Jr. said true peace, we talked about this last week, is not merely the absence of tension, but is the presence of justice. Not the absence of tension, but the presence of justice. And a few months ago, I made this analogy that wholeness on the individual level, which is often what we're seeking in New Thought, we're kind of seeking our relationship to our wholeness, that wholeness is personal justice, right? When you're in a state of wholeness, what does that mean? I'm in a state of wholeness. That means my body, is in a state of wholeness. My mind, my intellect, my spirit, all things are working together in some kind of harmonious way. There's a state of wholeness. Everything is in balance. That means there's a state of justice taking place. Everything is in its right order. Everything's in harmony and balance, and there's a sense of peace that is moving through it. And so if that's true at the personal level, if at the personal level our seek for wholeness is also our seek for the working out of justice in all of our internal affairs, then justice, which is we often speak about externally in the collective experience in the external world, justice is nothing more, nothing less than collective wholeness. Right? It's communal or societal wholeness. The advocating for justice, we're saying we want wholeness for this community or that community, our LGBT family, our whoever's immigrants, whoever is being ostracized or pitted against each other or oppressed in some way or form. When we're advocating for justice, we're saying we want them to be whole and we want them to be part of the whole called the community, right? Nobody with me so far? So wholeness and justice are a yin and yang with each other, right? So with that in mind, and because also it's Praxis Sunday, speak up. We got a microphone. We can pass it around. We can have a conversation. You just raise your hand and be like, I want to talk about that for a minute. Like we get to kind of break up the format a little bit. And so that's fine. So in fact, to just encourage you, I'm going to make sure that the microphone is readily available, okay? So just raise your hand. We're all just family here having an exploration. But let's begin with just a little centering meditation. Dive a little bit deeper, because at the heart of praxis, as I mentioned, oh, look, we have a candle and everything, see? How awesome is that? Go. Because at the heart of praxis is embodiment. At the heart of embodiment, which I believe is the key to living New Thought principles, to the science of mind. It's about living it from the center of your being. And therefore, the heart of that is to integrate a somatic way of being, which just means embodied way of being, which means you got to learn, not just the intellectual stuff of New Thought, but then how does that feel? Where in the body do I feel that? What does that mean? When I'm releasing or forgiving, when I'm seeking something and trying to open up space to manifest and create in my life, what are the feeling tones? Where does that live in the body? Where does the hurt or the trauma live, but also where does the vision live? And how do I make room for all of that? So with that in mind, let us take a few deep breaths. And as you find a balance with your breath, easing in, holding it for just a moment, exhaling through the mouth, breathing in through the nose, hold for just a moment, release through the mouth, and just invite yourself into a rhythm that works for you, that creates mindfulness, awareness. Adjust the body anywhere you need to adjust in the seat. If there's any place where there's any tension, allow your hands to rest softly in your lap, shoulders, back, your whole body posture just in a space of receptivity. We begin by just tuning in to the body. What's happening in your body and as your body right now? And just listen with the inner ear. There may be a feeling of cool or warmth or tension or openness or restriction. As you scan the body, just notice anything. And when you find something, just pause there. and just be present with it. No need to fix it or change it. Just acknowledge it for what it is. And if it has a message for you, something that it wants you to know, let it speak softly to you. And as we move into this time period of deeper somatic practice for raising our voice, for advocacy, and for the cultivation of peace in the world, invite your mind to remember that there is a place of deep peace within you, that regardless of circumstance or condition or anything temporal in the external world, there is a place of deep residing peace. Find that place. Journey to it. We turn inward to that deep place of calm, serenity that is always present. And now imagine yourself as you find that place, perhaps in a situation similar to that which we spoke of last week, in the metaphor in Scripture of Peter in the boat. That you're in this vessel, which is what a boat is, and the vessel is on some stormy or rocky seas. It is moving turbulently with the waves. But you are Peter. You are the presence within the boat that knows this place of peace and calm within yourself. You notice the waves, which represent the circumstances and conditions of the external world, both in your own personal life and as well as the global society and community around you. And they are doing what they must. They are rising and falling and cresting and crashing, and to some degree having an effect on the body, tossing it about in the midst of the storm. But the I am that I am, the presence of your awareness, is not the boat. It is Peter. It is the calm in the storm. So anchored in that awareness that you are, even when called out, able to step out of the boat and walk in the storm. Peter's capacity was anchored not only in his practice of the presence through his teacher, but also in the faith that he had in himself, because he knew that that peace resided in him. And so too, we are invited to know that there is a peace that resides within us, a wholeness that resides within us. This place that cannot be damaged, cannot be destroyed, it cannot be hurt, it cannot be violated, it cannot be diminished or taken away from in any way by anything or anyone, ever. Not from your childhood, not from years ago, not now, not in the future. It is the essence of who you are, and it is whole, perfect, and complete, now and always, and in all ways. Breathe in and out, and again in and out. And as you exhale, feel that awareness anchor itself in your body temple, in your cells, in your skin and bones, in your tissue and ligaments, in your organs and functions, in every aspect of your anatomy and molecular structure. Infuse it with the awareness of this peace, this wholeness. Anchored now in the body temple, back into this time and space and room, we carry this peace with us into this exercise, into this day, into this week, into this month, into this life. Knowing that we can always return through the breath and through a meditative pause to find this place again, whenever necessary, wherever necessary. Thank you, God. So it is. And so that is just the beginning of embodiment of somatic practice. It's just cultivating a meditation practice and cultivating a touchstone, a reminder for you. Where is that presence of peace within me? And as we mentioned last week, it doesn't mean that we don't have the turbulent storms of injustices and crazy things and perhaps stuff in our own lives as well as on the collective. But it means that despite all of that, we have a peace that we can carry with us into those places. And yet, right? Somebody say, and yet, lifes, and we get tossed about sometimes, we get disturbed, we get moved off of our place of center. And I had this insight, I was thinking about this today, and I was saying, what do we do, what do I do when I get thrown off my center? And I thought about, of course, prayer, meditation, being outside, being in nature, taking quiet time. We talked last week about in that same scripture before Jesus goes out onto the water, which is why Peter goes out, because Jesus calls him out, that back up prior to that, there had been the performance of the miracle, and then Jesus sends the disciples away, and then he sends the disciples there, and then Jesus goes to the mountain to pray, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. when I get disturbed or thrown off, it's like, I go isolate myself, go shut everything else off and out, and let me go be by myself. And so I thought about several different examples of that. What do we do when we're thrown off our center? But then it drove me to some other insights, and I thought, what is it? I thought this is a better question. To identify what is it that throws you off center. Anybody have anything? You can just call it out. We don't need to pass the mic. What throws you off center?
Elizabeth?
You got a word or a few words?
When it occurs to me that out there thinks I'm stupid.
Okay. Judgment.
Judgment, criticism, dismissiveness.
Okay, those are some good ones. Judgment, criticism, dismissive. Oh yeah, if somebody's dismissive. Ooh. Yeah, so that's what I'm asking. Like, what kind of lights you up? Like, you okay? You're Peter. You're carrying that calm and that peace, but then that happens, and then, but you just, ooh, don't do that. You snap. You're just gonna, ooh. And it's usually the things your partners or spouses or children might do, because they know your buttons, right? Especially children, right? There's things that my children can do that I'm like, woo! I go from 0 to not a saint in real fast, or things that happen in the external world, right? There's a reason that I'm so. There's a number of reasons, but there are reasons that I am so committed to justice and work in kind of our collective society in the political realm, right? Because there are things that I see in politics in particular that really get my goat, right? And I want to be part of the solution of that, right? So for me, as you keep, because I want to hear some others if you've got it. So for me, one of them, and related to that, is integrity. Right? When I see the demonstration of the lack of integrity, whoo, that gets me heated up, right? And so what I did, I'll tell you what I did with that in a moment, because I want you to have something for yourself as we go through this exercise. Anything else? So we had criticism, dismissal, judgments, integrity, fear. Okay. Yes.
When people in traffic repeatedly don't let me over.
Repeatedly. I mean, you've given them the signal, you've flashed your light, whatever you got to do, right? And no, they're just like, no, it's not happening. Okay. All right. Anything else?
When people try to tell me who I am and what my intentions are,
Okay.
without, I guess being misunderstood.
Being misunderstood. People try to.
And they try to tell you, well, this is what you've been trying to do. And
Ah,
it's
okay.
like, no, I wasn't.
Okay. So they're concluding for you, right? I try to summarize these things in 1 or 2 words, right? Concluding. Yeah. Good. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Right here.
When someone criticizes my need for solitude.
Ah, okay. Criticize your need for solitude. Why? How come we can't hang out? Why you gotta be by yourself? Yeah, okay, all right. Did I get it right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Not understanding our needs, right? So I want you to think of whatever that thing is. And I'll use the example that I gave around integrity, because I had such a good insight about this week. And what I'm calling that is identifying the wound or the need, right? Because here's what's true, is all of us as human beings, we are operating out of getting our needs met. It's what everybody's doing. Everybody on the planet, whether you like them, you don't like them, you agree with them, you don't agree with them, they, are your people or they're not your people. Everybody's trying to get their needs met. My dear friend and mentor for so many years, Bishop Carlton Pearson, he would say that sin is a irresponsible, not irresponsible, what was the word he used? Basically, an illegitimate response to a legitimate need. That sin was a sometimes irresponsible or illegitimate or sometimes inappropriate response to a legitimate need. And I loved the framing of that, because what it does is it takes the judgment off the quote-unquote sin, the behavior that we judge as bad or wrong, and reminds us that, there's a legitimate need there, right? Everybody's acting out of getting their needs met, right? I did justice work with police commission and peace advocates in Portland, Oregon for many years, and we would bring in gang members to sit with the police captain and the pastors, and it was a very interesting group of people, and sometimes very contentious, especially after a protest or something. We would say, "What happened this past weekend?" And very often, the young men who identified as either present or former gang members, they would talk about various things that were happening in the community, and they would never talk about it from the place of, criminality or bad behavior. They would always talk about it from the place of need. They're like, I got a baby to feed. I got this going on. I got, the rent is due. I got the car. I don't want the car payment. It was always economic, almost always, and it was about a need. It was like, I got needs that I got to get met. And there are no legitimate opportunities for me to get that need met. So I got to do what I got to do. So now if you as the community want to provide me with some legitimate opportunities, that will work, then we can talk, right? And that's where we tried to talk about, what are those avenues and ways. And so again, it was a reminder of, there's always a legitimate need there. So if we think of the thing that irks us, or the person that irks us, or the behavior that irks us, that pulls us off our center, it disturbs our peace. And we give that behavior a name, some of the names that we've used. And then if you just begin to think, and if you've got a note card, you could write this down, or you could do a longer meditation on this later if you choose to, but you begin to contemplate and say, when did that first show up as a need for me? Meaning, so again, I'll use the example that I gave. So mine is about integrity, right? So when did the need for integrity show up as a need? Where was the hurt? In other words, who broke integrity, my sense of integrity in my life? Where did that first happen? And for me, I would go back to childhood. I'd go back to my father not being present. I'd go back to, him not being present in any way, paying child support or anything. Left when I was a toddler, and the vivid memory I have of him driving by. I was outside playing, and driving by, which was apparently on my birthday, although I don't remember that because I was too young. And this car kind of screeching by, and this money flying out the window. And it was all dollar bills, it wasn't hundreds or 50s or 20s. It was these, dollar bills. And that was literally the last time that he was physically present in my life, all right? So there became a wound there that was about integrity. And so what do I look for in the external world? I look for my sense of safety is connected to integrity. But here's the shift, and here's the place where we can apply. So I want you to do that with whatever you identified. And if you're going to go back later and do this exercise and take more time with it and journal or whatever you need to do, that's fine too. So you identify, what's the thing that pulls me off my peace? Where's the original hurt around that thing, right? And then begin to do a meditative process. You go back to that first meditation we did, which is that there's something inside of you, a wholeness, a peace, a presence that nothing and nobody can disturb. And begin to use that word, that thing that you identified with it. So for me, it's not only is there a wholeness and a peace within my soul that nobody can hurt, nobody can damage, nobody can take away, harm in any way, shape, or form, there's also an integrity, right? There's an integrity with my spirit. There's a wholeness with my spirit that nobody can hurt or harm. And so I bring that integrity with it, and I begin to understand that if that's inside of me and nobody can hurt or harm it in any way, can never be violated or damaged or bruised or diminished in any sense, because it is integrity. The universe is integrous. God is integrous. My spirit is integrous. Then I begin to bring that with me. And the shift is that it goes from a demand to a presence. Instead of it being a demand that I have that you have to fulfill in order for me to feel safe, suddenly it becomes a gift that I bring. I become the integrity. I show up as integrity in my relationship. I show up as integrity in the workplace. I show up as integrity wherever I am. That becomes the goal for me, to bring that energy with me, because I don't need anybody else to give it to me. I get to bring it from the inside. And then, you ready for the magic? Guess what happens after you do that? When you heal it internally and you begin to bring and come from that place, because you understand your wholeness and your peace, then what you've done is you've raised your vibration. And we are what? Vibrational beings. And so as you've raised your vibration, as Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind text, that we tend to bring about what we think about, right? That we bring the essence and the sum total of our thoughts and vibrations, that there's an automatic law that responds to the sum total of our thoughts and feelings and emotions, and impresses them into the experience of our life. If that's where I'm coming from, then guess what I'm attracting? Integrity. And I'm attracting those relationships. I'm attracting those places and experiences more often than not. Now, I might be attracting some places to practice, right? I might be attracting some places to still work it out. That's part of it too. But what I'm not attracting is people or places that are going to violate my integrity, right? That's not happening anymore, right? Because I'm not coming from need of a wound that I need somebody else to fix. I'm coming from a gift that I can presence, and then I can partner with people, places, and things that match the vibration of that gift. And if you can't, that's okay. Then now I know where my boundaries are. Now I just have clear boundaries. So I know that these people can't match that integrity or whatever it is, right? For you, for that word. And then you know where your boundaries are. Is that good? Got the shift? You got all the steps? What throws you off your center? What disturbs your peace? You give that a name, so the different words that we've used. Identify where the original kind of hurt or violation of that was for you. And it doesn't have to be the original. You can, it can be just a place, because they're all connected, right? If I remember that, somebody ticked me off, 2 weeks ago, and why did they tick me off? Well, because I saw a lack of integrity within them, or in what they said or what they did. Okay, that's good enough, right? You just identify where it was. And then the healing of that, okay? I'm coming from that first meditation, that place of Peter, that place of peace and wholeness. Nothing can take that away. And then turning the need into a gift, right? Then you go into vibration. Thoughts, questions, ideas? Yes, sir.
I was thinking that most of the comments people made, and I was thinking to myself, were when we are hurt, when our defensive ego reacts to criticism or whatever. And as you were talking, I was reminded of the 4 agreements, where you kind of shift that whole way of thinking. I know the first one is be true to your word or something like that.
Yeah.
You probably know the other 3, somebody here does. That's a very different way of thinking about any kind of situation that kind of arms you for those kinds of occurrences. And when you remind yourself of what you're doing for your own self by adopting and living by those 4 agreements as best you can, you're setting an example where those things bounce off of you and don't necessarily offend you as much, or you don't take them personally. That's
Exactly.
one of the statements, I think. One of the agreements is
Yeah,
don't take things personally.
impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Who's got them? That never assume. That's right. And Attend SLCA. Yeah, that's the fourth one. It might be do your best. I think it is. I think it's do your best, right? You're 100%. Yeah. Good. Yeah, and again, those are all about coming from that place, giving that gift, giving it up front. I have a similar thing about, in boards, and I've worked on international boards and various groups, and we often talk about relationships of trust, and it goes for personal relationships as well. And whenever I hear somebody say, well, trust between these two parties, whether it's contractual relationship, whatever, the trust has to be earned. I'm always like, ooh, uh-oh. It's a huge red flag for me, right? Because the truth is that trust is given. Trust is given in relationship. You decide, I choose to trust this person. Now, trust could be earned or lost over time with behavior and how people show up. But if we say that my starting place is, I have it, and I have it over here, and you've got to get it, this is not going to be a good relationship, right? As opposed to, I have it for whatever reason, attraction, desire, common vision, common goal within the company, I choose to give it. I choose to offer it. Now the question is, do we work together in a way that keeps it? Integrity again, you see, right? That's a whole different thing. But you give it first. You get much further if we do that. Say, well, yeah, but what about people who do? Those are boundaries. Figure out where your boundaries are, and you go from there. All right. So we got some more affirmations. What else do we want to do? Let's do some affirmations. So as we're cultivating this and bringing this to close this month about raising our voice, I want us to be really clear and strong about, Marianne Williamson has that beautiful line that our, deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, it's that we're powerful beyond measure. Right? That you're powerful beyond measure, that there's something within you that is the power and the presence that is needed in the world. And there is a lot of stuff, a lot of BS that's happening, right? Which is belief systems, by the way, right? Because everything's tied to a belief system, yeah? There's all kinds of chaos and stuff happening right now. And the truth is that that's always been the case, right? And I think in some cases in America, in relation to our political state, it's at a particular state of fragility and chaos at this particular time. But globally, that has circulated around the planet for thousands and thousands of years. This just happens to be our time and our experience of it. But what we need to understand, not to dismiss that, to say that the justice work or advocacy work is not important, it's very important. But to understand that we're doing it and we're engaging with it from that place of power and that place of peace and that place of vision and that place that says, I have a voice, I have a contribution, who I am makes a difference in the midst of this, and that I cannot be diminished, that there is no legislation that can legislate my body, my gender, my pronouns, my expression, my opportunities in life, my whatever, right? That can diminish who I am. The I am nature of who you are is bigger than all of that. And when we remember that, we remember it not only as individuals, but we remember it because if you remember it for yourself as an individual, great, wonderful, right? It's the absolute essential first step of personal empowerment. And what is it that allows you to know that that's the truth of your being? What is it that allows you to know that that's the truth of your being? And what it is that allows you to know that that's the truth of your being is that it's a universal truth. The universality of it, okay? It's a universal truth. So that means if it's true for you, And it's true for everybody else too. So a real test of you remembering and knowing and truly knowing that you are powerful beyond measure, that nothing can diminish you, that no law or legislation can take away the fullness of the stature of who you are as a spiritual being having a human expression, is your ability to not just know that for yourself, but your ability to advocate for that truth on behalf of somebody else. That's the measure of do you know it? Because you just know it for yourself in the midst of an environment in which it's being taken away from others is just individualism. But if you remember, not only do I know this, but the very thing that allows me to know this is a universal truth that connects me to all things. Therefore, my demonstration of knowing it is that I'm going to make sure it's there for this person or group of people or part of society or whatever, right? Does that make sense? So therefore, we got to be really anchored in our truth. We got to know what that truth is. We got to know what that power is. All right, so let's take a deep breath again. So we're just going to breathe in some affirmations and breathe out some affirmations to anchor this time in our body temple. As you breathe in, inhale, I receive peace. As you hold the breath briefly, affirm, I embody strength. And as you release, we release and say, I release fear. Again, I receive peace. I embody strength. I release fear. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. I receive peace. I embody strength. Hold. I release fear. I receive peace. I embody strength. I release fear. Keep that cycle going. I receive peace. Embody strength. Release fear. Each time you move through that cycle, invite yourself to feel it moving deeper into your body temple, moving down through your body, not just echoing in the head and the throat, but moving through the chest cavity, moving down the arms, moving into the solar plex and the abdomen, into the legs, into the feet. Feel it circulating through your entire being. I receive peace. I embody strength. I release fear. I receive peace. I embody strength. I release fear. Receive peace. Embody strength. Release fear. Receive peace. Embody strength. Release fear. receive peace, embody strength, release fear. And now, because this month we've been focusing on raising our voice, I want you to bring your awareness and attention to your throat area, your throat chakra, vocal cords, the vibration of your being, that with every affirmation that you speak, you're sending a frequency and vibration into the universe. The universe, as we already know, that through automatic law receives the direct impress of your affirmation, of your thoughts, of your embodiment, and responds to it by bringing it about in the world of experience. And so we conclude with these affirmations. I am a vessel of peace in every storm. Repeat that with me. I am a vessel of peace in every storm. I am a vessel of peace in every storm. Again, I am a vessel of peace in every storm. Again, I am a vessel of peace in every storm. Allow it to resonate out. Tune in with the body. Where do you feel that truth vibrating? If there's any place that's holding back or resisting, say it again. I am a vessel of peace in every storm. Let it go out into the atmosphere of your conditions and circumstances in your life, in your finances, in your health and well-being, in your relationships, in your career, and in your expressions and connections. In any place where there might be a storm brewing, I am a vessel of peace in every storm. The law makes the way possible before you even get there. And you're a vessel of peace when the moment is right. The next affirmation I have for us today is, I speak my truth with love, clarity, and power. I speak my truth with love, clarity, and power. Together, I speak my truth with love, clarity, and power. Again, I speak my truth with love, clarity, and power. Again, I speak my truth with love, clarity, and power. Again, I speak my truth with love, clarity, and power. Allowing that to move out and resonate, checking in with the body temple. What is your truth? What is the truth of your being that you need to speak into the world? Speak it into your relationships, speak it into your finances, speak it into your well-being of physical body, speak it into your work, into your creative expression, into your friendships, into your social life, into every aspect of who you are. Speak it into your morning commute. Speak it into your evening commute. Speak it into your time of rest. I speak my truth with love, clarity, and power. Next affirmation, there's two more. Next affirmation is, I break the chains of silence with courage. I break the chains of silence with courage. I break the chains of silence with courage. Again, I break the chains of silence with courage. Again, I break the chains of silence with courage. Feel it move out from the center of your voice, the vibration of your throat chakra. Feel it in the body temple. I break the chains of silence with courage. Anywhere in your life where you've been holding back or not speaking up, choosing silence over confrontation, over speaking your truth. Feel those chains of silence, of resistance breaking. Breathe in all the courage that is required to do so. To be an advocate for yourself or for others is within you. All of the energy, all of the insight, all of the intuition, all of the know-how, all of the tenacity, all of the power, all of the passion that is required for you to break those chains and to say what needs to be said is already within you. And it goes forward into your experience now. And one last affirmation for the day. My voice contributes to the liberation of all. 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 Feel it go out. Your voice is connected with the I am presence of the divine, of the universal self, of the I am, of God's presence. God's voice is your voice. Your voice is God's voice. That which needs to be spoken into the world to create liberation for all people, places, things, and circumstances resides within you. Not because you're responsible for all of it, but because you are connected to all of it. You are in relationship to all of it. You belong to all of it. And so your voice matters. Your voice has influence. Your voice has power. Your voice has impact. Your voice contributes to the liberation of all. Taking a deep breath. I'm going to invite the practitioners to come forward. Practitioners are available for prayer after the service. They're also available online and in our chat room for those of you watching online right now. They're available on our website. You can find the full list of our practitioners who are available for prayer support by appointment at any point in time. As your schedule and their schedule allows, they will reach out to you if you reach out to them, and they have been trained in the art and the practice of affirmative prayer. And they join me in this prayer to know and affirm and declare that there is one power, one presence, and one life that is moving in, through, and as all life and all creation right here and right now. Is the very essence of this vibration and this time that we have spent together. And it is the dynamic truth of my being. In being so, it is the dynamic truth of every being, every sentient being, every living being, every expressing being on this planet. And there is at the very heart of each of these individuals and our collective a desire for liberation, a desire for love, for joy, for peace, for wholeness, for prosperity and health and abundance, for clarity, for wisdom, for guidance. All of these things and more that are being sought out in the world right now. Some through legitimate means and some through illegitimate means, but all because of a desire of spirit to know itself, to fulfill itself, to find peace and expression and fulfillment in itself. And so I know that that is occurring for me right here and right now. It's occurring for you right here and right now. And it's occurring for us right here and right now. It's occurring for the dynamic life of the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta and all places that are committed to peace and justice. They are committed to the infinite connection of the divine power and our intimacy with it. I bless each of these places, each of these beings, each of these expressions within the sound of my voice this day, knowing that all is well. God is good all of the time. And I simply release this word, knowing that it is done, that there is an automatic law that receives the impress of this prayer, and responds to it as the activity of my life, your life, our life, its life, the life of all. Not because we say it was so, but because it says that we are so. And so we let it be. And so it is. Peace and blessings.
We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of